Welcome, modern day mystics, fellow truth seekers, James and Justin, back again with another reaction, and today we are continuing the Army of Satan series. You guys cannot get enough of this.
How many of them are there?
I don't know.
Infinite?
They go forever. I have a feeling they go into the 30s. So
well, it's been a fun road. You know?
Yeah.
An interesting road.
Yeah, there's a lot in these videos that we can unpack. So let's begin.
One billion of us own a smartphone, and we know how addicting it can be. One former Google employee says this is no accident. Indeed, it is by design, and he became troubled by the relentless efforts of app developers to keep us glued to the gadgets.
So the goal is to keep us on our devices longer. Why?
For any company whose business model is advertising or engagement-based advertising, meaning they care about the amount of time someone spends on the product, they make more money the more time people spend. So the game becomes, how can I throw different persuasive techniques to get people to stay, to spend as long as possible, and to come back tomorrow?
You know, if the thought process that went into building these applications, Facebook being the first of them to really understand it, that thought process was all about how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. And that means that we need to sort of give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while because someone liked or commented on a photo or a post or whatever. And that's going to get you to contribute more content, and that's going to get you, more likes and comments. I mean, it's a social validation feedback loop that it's like it's exactly the kind of thing that a hacker like myself would come up with, because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. And I think that the inventors, creators, and it's me, it's Mark, it's the Kevin Systrom at Instagram, it's all of these people, understood this consciously, and we did it anyway.
I think in the back, deep recesses of our minds, we kind of knew something bad could happen. But I think the way we defined it was not like this. It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are. And I would encourage all of you, as the future leaders of the world, to really internalize how important this is. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in. And it is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works. No civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth, and it's not an American problem. This is not about Russian ads. This is a global problem. So we are in a really bad state of affairs right now, in my opinion. It is eroding the core foundations of how people behave by and between each other. And I don't have a good solution. My solution is I just don't use these tools anymore. Bad actors can now manipulate large swaths of people.
Is that Miley?
To do anything you want. It's a really bad state of affairs. And we compound the problem, right? We curate our lives around this perceived sense of perfection because we get rewarded in these short-term signals, hearts, likes, thumbs up, and we conflate that with value, and we conflate it with truth. And instead, what it really is fake, brittle popularity. That's short-term, and that leaves you even more, and admit it, vacant and empty before you did it. You don't realize it, but you are being programmed.
control someone through social networks doesn't necessarily mean that you have his videos or pictures. Rather, you can also put some programs on those social medias to change his behavior, to destroy his morals and beliefs, and to take him away from the real values of his life. This is what they are doing with you. They make your mind busy with these things so that you don't have any time for other important issues. Or in other words, they make you a slave of the system through these networks. And through those specific tools, Shaitan steals your time because there's almost an infinite scrolling tab which traps you and sucks your lifetime. In fact, you're sitting alone, busy with those networks and think that you're connected with the entire world. That's how they divided the community and ruled the societies.
The Prophet ﷺ says in the hadith, لن تزول قدم عبد يوم القيامة حتى يسأل عن أربع. The feet of the son of Adam will not move, will not go away to anywhere until the person, he or she, are questioned about 4 things. عن عمره فيما أفناه. About his or her life, how they spent it. As many of these people who become so addicted to social media and become like, oh, I have 5,000 followers. You know, they start having a sense of false accomplishment. You start talking to them after 5.5, or as the report said, 9 hours a day of being on the internet or social media. You ask them, what have you done for your daily life? What positive thing did you do for your family, for your children, for your parents, for your neighbor, for the ummah in general? And they have a sense of, you know, I posted something on Facebook and I got 200 likes, and they walk around like they have done some real serious accomplishment.
The concept amazes me, man. And our lives have become so attached to it that it brings unnecessary stress and unnecessary sadness. Why? Because you're so caught up with how other people are living their lives that the only thing you can see in your life is what's missing. And you stop seeing what you have. And really, I find it interesting, and again, forgive me, now these are just my personal, have we become so shallow that I need to let the world know where I am, what I'm eating, where I'm going, and who I'm with? And have you become so shallow that you need to follow people now? I don't understand, like people take selfies. Just had lunch. Wallahi, you know, look, it's funny, but wallahi, you don't understand the effects it has on individuals, even marriages. And I'm telling you, you know, and maybe this is a bit extreme, but I believe that people are living a lie. You know, girls who take these, even guys now, what's the pose called? You know, when you do this, what? I don't know what it's called, but anyway. So, you know, people who take selfies and then put it up on the internet, I find it amazing. If you're so sincere, why don't you take a photo as soon as you wake up in the morning? You know, while you still got those things in your eyes.
All right, he's making a good point about authenticity, right? And like showing the uglier sides of your life. Although I have seen some people do that. But, you know, we're like halfway through this and there's like a lot we could unpack about what was said in this. One of the things I like about this series is that it transcends, I think, just Islam. This is something that relates to like kind of the whole world, and I think every one of us could pull something out of this.
Yeah, no, I mean, thank God videos like this are accessible to us, and hopefully they post this or parts of it to Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, that was the hilarious thing.
Thank God that, you know, one thing I'll just say is at one point they mentioned, you know, and if you do this, it'll control you. That ship has sailed long out of the harbor. Before social media existed, you were controlled by society. You're controlled already. That ship has left the harbor. Yeah. And I mean, thank God that these things have emerged among society for us to wake up
Yeah.
There's good and bad to everything. But I'll say this, okay?
Yeah.
Satan is the master of cheap tricks. Okay?
Oh, here we go.
Satan, that's his jam. His
Yeah.
cheap tricks. He's not going to get you with anything, you know, amazing, really. But behold the effect of even simple ways that you're manipulatable and usable. To the wise man, to the enlightened person, he could grow up in a heroin den and he will be unaffected by the Satan around him, by the demons around him. To the one that is awoken and is a master, it's irrelevant what the world is doing. I mean, after all, Allah has got this in his hand, does he not?
Yeah.
Allah's got it all under control. So be calm. Don't get flustered. Don't get worried. You know, if you want to talk, that's fine. Everything is allowed clearly under God. But it's just a simple switch of perspective to realize that, you know,
in my opinion,
that the wise man is not unperturbed by the state of the world.
It's another obstacle for humanity to overcome. And in one facet, maybe we did do this on purpose, just so we could not be bored of reality and find something to conquer. And because I feel like as we evolve and grow and learn, we're going to face this thing. We're forced to face this thing head on, and we're going to come out with new ways of dealing with it and protecting ourselves from it. We do it with all types of things. Like, I think in Alberta, they just passed I don't know if it was Alberta in the States or somewhere, they passed a law where it's like, in Florida, but just recently, it's illegal to be on social platforms like Facebook and stuff like that before you're 16, unless you have supervision from your parents, unless your parents allow it. So there will be like little things like that. Also, there's like apps you can download for your phone to make them like less addictive, like to put your phone into like dull mode.
Yeah.
And like there's little apps that you can have to monitor how often have you been looking at your phone today. And so little things like this, you know,
but will happen. Yeah. It's vital to become aware of the just sort of fundamental nature of evil and the fundamental nature of good.
Yeah.
Do that in your spare time, if you have any. You know, are you getting off of this stuff and then going right to calling up your neighbor and gossiping? Yeah, I haven't been on social media for like a week. You know, I've been chronically doing this other evil thing, but I've been off social media.
Yeah.
Notice the nature of evil and that it doesn't matter. There will always be some vessel for evil to, I don't know, maybe one day it will be extinguished.
Yeah.
But for the time being, I think you can rest assured that laws will change, new laws will be created, new things will become legal, other things will become illegal.
Yeah.
All of that is going to happen, and if it's not a problem for you if you're in the right place with God. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, let me say all that to say, just a thought, you know, maybe that's what's true about the wise man or the awakened one.
Well, you bring up a good point about addictions because I've been told that something like most of us have like 12 addictions. And when you tell that to people, they're like, what? I have 12 addictions? There's many things that you do. Go through your life and your day, your week, your month, and year, and watch what you do habitually without even thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of little things that we can become addicted to and can take over. And then also watch what happens, like what you said, when you take an addiction away, how you supplement it with something else.
Well, for sure. It's a big distraction. It's all a big distraction. And years from now, one day, people will start, hopefully not years from now. Sometimes I'm surprised how quickly something can happen. But what is next to come is people will realize the significance of having time to completely unplug and stop. You know, it's all a big distraction. You want to know what the real Satan is? The real Satan is hidden in distraction. Why can't you stop? Why, when you learn something, do you got to go tell somebody? And, you know, the scale of how awake somebody is varies. Some people will understand what I'm saying. Some people will go, oh, there's nothing wrong with me learning something good and telling someone immediately about it. No, just, forget this. I'm not listening. But to those of you that are actually got your eye open a little bit, it will become of very high value. You know, if things progress in a positive direction for humanity, to stop and probably do nothing and even take the hit, progression wise to some degree. Things are progressing so fast. We can't even slow the progression of technology at this point.
Yeah.
So now we've done it. We've carved out enough time for ourselves to finally be able to stop. A lot of people going to be horrified at the notion. I can't stop. I get sad when I stop. I get scared when I stop. I get rolling anxiety attacks when I stop.
Right.
Okay, so when you stop, you get anxiety. Don't go drink a beer. Don't go smoke a joint. Roll through your anxiety. And if it's severe enough, contact a professional to get help. But the point is the same.
Yeah.
That will be a vital thing going forward for humanity's ability to stop and become aware.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's continue on.
No, the picture is selected. The picture is selected. And I always take a photo when I'm on a holiday or I'm having something, right? And I go to extreme efforts to show the world that I'm living the life. But in truth, you're not living the life. You're a human being like everyone else. And what tends to happen is, and really, wallahi, I say to people, even if you are happy, don't show it to the world. Because people will start to hate on you, they will start wishing to have what you have, and they will start wishing that Allah takes what you have and gives it to them. But my brother and sister, Allah didn't give you that.
It's true.
Allah says, I'm not going to question you on things I haven't given you. Why do you make things difficult on yourself?
I just wanted to say something quickly about this idea of, first of all, I don't think that it's necessarily exactly that way. Just don't show people that you're happy. He's making a good point. I mean, he's showing everybody that he's angry, though. He's showing some emotion.
Yeah.
But the point he's making is pretty important there. People are so quick to show who they are. But yeah, I do think that, especially if you do some research into the nature of humanity's carnal nature, they are kind of quick to judge you and be jealous of you. How psyched are you at someone else's, if you're not, especially if you're not that close to them.
Yeah.
You're psyched when they come here and say, check out all my awesome stuff. You're excited about that. Again, depends on how awake you are, right?
Yeah.
Not woke, just how conscious you are. But he's making a good point. But I think it's deeper than that. It's like, why are you going out and being so showy, so petty, so self-interested without realizing that you're like connected to everyone around you, even these people you're judging the hell out of, like pointing a finger at and judging. You are connected to them. Yeah. Even the demoniest of demons, you're somewhat connected. You can't get it out of you can't separate it from your own mind. Those demons reside in your own awareness of them. That's where they're residing.
Brothers who drive around all day, working all day, looking at every woman that comes his way, admiring and lusting and Allahu Akbar, and comes home and he says to me, man, I'm sick of my wife. Yeah, of course you're sick of your wife. Had you spent 10% of the time you spend looking at other people's women, had you just spent that time looking at what Allah gave you, maybe you would appreciate her as well. But you don't. You're looking at the things that don't belong to you. You look at things that are not yours. You're trying to live the life that is not yours. Wallahi, just live your life.
The social networks are one of the biggest fitnas of this time, because they are the easiest way for your enemy to manipulate you and to take your whole attention on meaningless desires. And this is what Shaitan loves the most. Just take in mind that whenever you post something or write something which reflects immorality, a great number of people will see and read it. And when every individual sees it, there will be a sin deposited in your account. And you will be responsible for that in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
SubhanAllah, there's a word that we might say, and only the people here could hear it. But there is a word that you might, or we might type on the internet, and you don't know, you have no control how many people will read that, how many people will actually see that. It's not only what we say with our tongue. Because what you write, somebody else is gonna read. What we write, somebody else is gonna repeat. You know, we've seen people in Muslim countries leave Islam, become atheists as a result of engagement with social media like Facebook and Twitter and chat rooms. They go into a field of fitna that they are not equipped with knowledge to combat.
Also, when you like a post which contains immorality, this like will cause the database of that social network to push the content to a greater number of people. Now imagine how big your sin will be if you like or share those contents.
We're not going to yell at it.
No, of course not. That is a warm hoodie.
Yeah, no, it's a thick hoodie. It's a company hoodie. We print our mission on the inside.
What? Oh my
really?
God, the inside of the hoodie, everybody. Take a moment. What is it? Making the
world more open and connected.
Oh my God, it's like a secret cult. Look at that, making the world open and connected, stream graph platform, and this weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the Illuminati.
There was no laugh after that? Oh, come on. I shouldn't laugh at that. That's some serious...
According to Department of Homeland Security reports, Facebook has replaced almost every other CIA information gathering program since it was launched in 2004.
After years of secretly monitoring the public, we were astounded so many people would willingly publicize where they live, their religious and political views, an alphabetized list of all their friends' personal email addresses, phone numbers, hundreds of photos of themselves, and even status updates about what they were doing moment to moment. It is truly a dream come true for the CIA.
Much of the credit belongs to CIA agent Mark Zuckerberg, who runs the day-to-day Facebook operation for the agency. The decorated agent, codenamed the Overlord, was recently awarded the prestigious Medal of Intelligence Commendation for his work with the Facebook program, which he has called, quote, the single most powerful tool for population control ever created.
The Prophet ﷺ says, imagine the moment of death where the tongue becomes so heavy and you can't say subhanallah bihamdi. You cannot, we spend so much time on social media, and what's strange enough is that subhanallah, many of us have the Quran on our devices, yet the day and the 2 and the 3 go by and we don't open the Quran. ألا نخاف أن يكون هذا حجة علينا يوم القيامة. We should be scared that this app, the Quran app that we have on our cell phones or our iPads, will come on the day of judgment. The Prophet ﷺ on the day of judgment will complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وقال الرسول يا رب إن قوم اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. Oh my Lord, Muslims have neglected this book. Muslims have neglected this book.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Oh man. Man, I had a point that I lost it.
See, that's the thing, man.
And then the Jewish star thing, I roll my eyes at I'm like, stop it. Stop.
I meant I shouldn't have laughed at that because I don't understand all the details of it.
Yeah.
I don't, it's just, you know, on the inside of Mark Zuckerberg's work, his jacket. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's Jewish or not, but you're telling people don't look at him and think that's a sweet baby angel? People don't look at his sweet porcelain skin and curls and think that's a sweet baby angel. I mean, I'll give you this. To the normal person who like talks and behaves normally, who's probably not like neurodivergent and a genius or whatever he is. He's probably like technically a genius.
Yeah.
His behavior can seem odd, but that's such low-hanging fruit to grab and then judge.
Yeah,
you know, like I don't know if Elon Musk took behavior training or something like that, but if you're neurodivergent, you're almost always regarded as like a little off.
Yeah.
You know, but I've just so happened to someone very close to me does a lot of studies into this stuff, and there's a lot of things that, you know, are like neurodivergent people have a hard time being dishonest.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty sweet quality to have, is like an adversity to being deceptive.
Yeah.
You know, but we look at these people and so often it's easy to look at something different and be like, that's not like me, you know, and get sort of judgy about it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we should do.
One thought I did have during that was there was a lot about like, you know, everything you post like brings you judgment and stuff like that. And I'm of the mind of that, like, every moment is an opportunity for redemption, and there's a possibility like there's a saying out there that one act of love covers a multitude of sins. There are probably people, maybe you're watching this and you don't feel good about a lot of the stuff that you've put out there. To that person, I say there's always as long as there's air in your lungs, there's time to change.
There's just a record of it now. Think of all the things that you would say ridiculously callously if there was no record of it. I grew up in the 90s before there was an internet. Chaos reigns.
Oh, I know.
People do the meanest stuff to just alienate this guy because it's going to be better for me socially if I just treat this weirdo like crap. What does Allah think about that? Now, I've got art out there that I'm like, yeesh, I don't know if that art should be out there. Plenty of things out there that I've said and done, but you're seeing somebody thinking. We still have the right to free speech unless you want to control what people say.
Yeah.
We are all in this thing together, whether you like it or not. And all of the deeds of your enemy are connected like chain links to you. Yeah. So how important is it for the individual to get right and wake up and not justify their life away and distract their life away?
Yeah.
A lot of this was absolutely correct in terms of the effect it has.
Yes.
But a lot of it was,
I don't like when it starts pitting sides. When it starts like, all right, let's get our wall built and we'll have our side and it's us versus them.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like that. I'm like, how do we bridge gaps? How do we bring peace there?
One thing I'll say is I like to see that one guy that was getting angry and he was talking about things. I actually like that because I think there's so much fakeness in the world these days.
Yeah.
I think what happened was there was a really bad dictator at one point that was and his hair would flop all over the place and everybody's kind of nervous not to emulate that. So everybody tries to play it cool. But be real about your emotions. I have a way easier time believing somebody that's showing me sincere concern or sincere passion for something than somebody that's like, I'm doing this thing where I like pretend that I'm dumber than I am and kind of entitled. Sorry, not to judge somebody who speaks like that. It's just a different style of speaking.
Yeah.
But
well, you lose something when you're always
there's a lot
trying
of that.
to be.
There's rare to see someone passionate.
When you're always trying to be politically correct and give some aura of togetherness, you lack authenticity. You lack, you need a little bit more emotion these days. And I think it's actually kind of making a comeback.
I mean, how else are you supposed to be able to manifest a scarf out of the middle of your hand?
Yeah.
In real time.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Well, anyway, guys, hopefully, you like our reaction on this. This was part 8. If you want us to keep going, let us know in the comments. And if you liked this reaction, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everyone, until next time,
stay spiritual.